They say that Richard Cory owns one half of this old town. He's got political connections to spread his wealth around. Born into society, a banker's only son. He had everything a man could want: power, grace, and style. But I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be Richard Cory. The papers print his picture almost everywhere he goes. Richard Cory, he's at the opera. Richard Cory at a show. And the rumors of his parties and the orgies on his yacht. Ooh, he surely must be happy with all the things he's got. But I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be Richard Cory. He freely gave to charity. He had the common touch, and they were grateful for his patronage, and they thanked him very much. So my mind was filled with wonder when the evening headlines read, Richard Cory went home last night and put a bullet through his head. Oh, but I work in his factory, and I curse the life I'm living, and I curse my poverty, and I wish that I could be Richard Cory. King Harold, King's Roulette, King's Club. A somber story this morning about something that's really plaguing the world, and that is depression. Depression's everywhere, and it affects everybody. Some of the most well-to-do, affluent, are just as depressed as anybody else. And what cures depression is actually hope. Hope is what cures depression. You can find hope in a lot of things. I find hope all the time in that the man that I talk to all the time. No, I'm not talking about the angel. He gives me hope too. But when I talk to God, I find hope. I'm talking to everybody out there in the kingdom today, no matter whether you're dealing with something in your own life, something in a friend's life. Love each other, be close to each other, work with each other. We're all the same. Establish some hope. Look for things in the future. Because the tragic thing is seeking out that permanent solution to the temporary problem. We don't need that. That affects everybody around you. Don't put that on them. Find your hope. I'm going to be here. I'm going to help you with some hope. I can promise you that. We have got an interesting idea today that we want to put forth. We're going to play a Fibonacci, and a Fibonacci where we have a column select a dozen and dozen selects a column. This is a interesting twist where we add random to something that you may have seen before. The angel brought this to me, and he usually brings some things that really get my attention. So I'm happy to do this. We're going to play straight Fibonacci. We're going to go at it too, because we've got a $2,000 bankroll, and we're going to press forward. We're going to press forward with Fibonacci all the way to the wall. I mean, we're going. I don't know. I've lost track of it. I think 14 bullets. We're going 14 bullets. Angel said so. That means it's gospel. Speaking of gospel, this is coming from Found in Him. We got to give Brad his props because thanks, Brad, for putting this up. Some guys are going on some cruise ships coming up, and you might want to relax and pop this at it. Now, when you get your profit level, go ahead and get out of there, walk, because there are some risks to this thing. This is roulette, man. The honest truth about it, like I saw it yesterday. After getting thrown out of French Lick, I went up to Indianapolis yesterday to work, and I saw it very clearly in a huge crowd that was there, that nobody wins. They all lose. These games are hard. These games are set to take your money. That's what they're there for. That's why we need to stay organized. We need to stay disciplined. We need to stay patient. I talk these things all the time, because even when you're as armed as you can be armed, it's still a tough doggone game. But we intend on winning. We intend on carving out our money every day and be different than all of those who are around us. We're going to start with $1 bets, Fibonacci, going forward, $2,000 bankroll, and we're looking to make our 30%, which would be
15%.
I'm sorry, 30%. I'm looking to go to 15%, so we're going to go to $300. $2,000 to $2,300. And we are going to use column selects the dozen and dozen selects the column, and we're going to bet $1 to begin things. Column selects the dozen, there it is, and dozen selects the column, there it is, and that is a spin. And we're on Fibonacci, and we are moving. That gives us the random. That's a little win there, so we stay at the $1 bet, and we are moving to column selects the dozen right there, dozen selects the column right there, and there we go. With a beginning Fibonacci bet. And we have an 18, that selects the dozen, and we have dozen selects the column. And we have and we're moving the Fibonacci up to $2. Try to keep up with the Fibonacci here. So we're going to go to a $3 bet on the second 12 and a $3 bet on the second column. Column selects the dozen, dozen selects the column, Fibonacci straight up the ladder. Resetting after a win. So we return to a $1 bet. 21 is in the second dozen. The second dozen selects the second column at $1. And the 22 gives us 2 and 2 again. We're playing second dozen and second column. Column selects the dozen and reciprocal. Dozen selects the column. Okay, so we got a 20, that's going to be the second column. So we're going to resetting down to $1, and we're going to still be there. Second column and second dozen. And the 30 moves us to a $2 bet on the third dozen and a $2 bet on the third column. So the 32 gives us a $1 bet. And we're going to stay at $1. We're going to go to the first dozen, and we're going to go to the first column. Now the 12 appears in the third column, but the 12 prompts the first column bet. Let's repeat it, 12. So we're going to repeat the bet. Then we get to move over to the third dozen there, and we're going to play the third column for $1. Catching the 21 there keeps us in the second dozen and in the second column. This is an ideal kind of relaxed way to go forward, and as long as you don't catch a real rough patch. But if you got the bankroll, the Fibonacci will eventually, or should eventually, prevail. So we got a 6, so we go to $2 bet on the first dozen, and we go to $2 bet on the first column. This is a modified Fibonacci, 1, 2, 3, 5, 13. We just skipped the second bet. And we're going to go to $3. Right there and there. So we'll go to a $5 bet on the third column and a $5 bet down there on the third dozen. And we have an $8 bet. Second dozen, second column. Moving up Fibonacci a little bit. And we go to a $13 bet and a $13 bet. And that gives us a $21 bet on second column, second dozen. It's exciting when you start escalating. Six gives us a $34 bet. So we go continuing up the scale of Fibonacci. We go to a $55 bet on first dozen and on first column. Have to keep going up because we're not in session profit. Well, there's a tiny little win there of $220 that we could reset now to $1 bets all the way back down the scale. And of course, you guys probably caught I missed one of the Fibonacci sequences a minute ago. In case you didn't hear me get hit in the back of the head, I can remind you of it. So we got a $1 bet coming up here on the second dozen and second column. And we reset to $1 on the first dozen and on the first column. And another reset with the repeat bit there. Resetting again. This is the entry-level Fibonacci here. We're at 159, as you can see. Profit level. We're going for $2,300, 15% profit. And this is the second bet in Fibonacci. First dozen, first column. Found in him, Brad. Thank you. Some fun this morning. Second level Fibonacci $1 bets. Got it right this time. Didn't jump the one. I sometimes modify that Fibonacci. That's why I did that, because I sometimes do. Now we'll go to the $2 bet over here in column 3. I mean in dozen 3 and in column 3. $3 bets. Keeping it random, something you've seen before, but adding the random to it. We're at the $5 level Fibonacci, columns 1, dozen 1. So we go to $8. In dozen number 2, and then column number 2, $8 bet. So we continue up to 13. Reset to 1 because we did get back to session profit. So reset to $1 bet on column 2. Always go into the safety of it if you have, we barely got over it, but getting over it is enough. So we're going to do a spin. No, we're just going to repeat that. We don't care. This is random. This is the second level Fibonacci. We don't need a spin to determine anything. As you can see right there, that's a win. We're halfway there. Dozen 1, column 2. Dozen 2, column 2. And a $2 bet. Column picks the dozen, dozen picks the column. We're going to a $5 bet on column 2 and dozen 2. Now we're going to go back to $1 bets. Oops. Let's get it in the right dozen. There we go. Now we go to a $2 bet. Dozen number 2, column number 2. And then we go to a $3 bet over here in dozen number 1, so we're in column number 1. And then a $5 bet right there in the center. We go back to $1 bet. And then we play $1 on the first dozen and the first column. So we go to $2 bet. And we go to $1 bet. Second Fibonacci bet, $1. And the $2 bet here over dozen number 3 and column number 3. And moving up to $5 out here. And 8. Go to 13. We're going on up to 13. Get this exactly right. Do our bookkeeping. 13 and 13, columns 1 and dozen number 1. And we go to a $21 bet. Column 1, dozen 1. We're going to go with $34 on dozen number 2 and column number 2. We've got an odd number, $55 bet. Column. Those are wrong. $55 bet, column 3, dozen 3 and column 3. Well, I'm glad we got that right. Man, that was almost a critical administrative error right there. So that puts us up to 246. We're up 246. We're going for 300. We're still in column 3, and we're back at the dollar bet. This is why this makes it so much fun and makes it so easy and cruise control-ish like we always like. This is random working, this dozens and columns. We're going to stay right there at a dollar bet after that win. Try to give you some things that you can just take the stress off. There's no thinking here. There's no audibles called. You just go to where it says to go. Column tells you the dozen, dozen tells you the column. Fibonacci leads his Italian math right out there for you. So we've got a $2 bet on the third dozen and the third column. I'm going to stay at $2 on right there. We've maintained a 248 profit, so we can stay right there with the $2 bet. I'm going to do it again. Let's repeat that. Now we're climbing back up. I wanted to get back to session profit. So we've got $3 bet. It may not sound like much, but when you make sure that you're as precise as you can be, then you're executing the discipline part of the tenet of the algorithm. It's important that you be absolutely correct all the time. Now, make mistakes, of course, but to the best of your ability, always. And that's why you also don't want to play so long, because you want your mind fresh, and you like short sessions. I play much longer sessions here when we're working our YouTube sessions than I ever would in a casino. So we're at $5. We won at that level, but we're going to come right back with an $8 bet to put us back in that session profit. $8 bets. Got them right. Dozen 2, column 2. And we go to a $13 bet over here on the third dozen and up there on the third column. And we have a $21 bet. Second dozen, second column. And going to 34. And we're going to 55. $89 over there in the third dozen. And up there in the third column. $89 bet. Going up the ladder with Fibonacci. What in the world is that? Well, what that is that shows the rewards of Fibonacci. It shows you that no matter what, we went up and down like we did with the session profit, but it still doesn't matter. You're armed properly. You've got the $2,000 bankroll. We just turned a huge profit, $2,000 to $2,426. It's a great morning. It's a great day. There was no pressure and no stress. This thing is going to hit, whether it's going to hit both or not that significant. It surely is nice, but it would have come together the same way. I'm going to thank Found in Him for this ideas, and spent most of the morning with Raymond Green doing some things and following all the stuff that he has going on. It's pretty exciting things. We're going to be introducing more of Raymond to you, so that you can see some of the things that are going on with his daily work. He is a true professional at this. He plays it all day long, a variety of games. He's a great asset to the kingdom. And to have Found in Him come forward with this as well. I've got a queue of people coming to visit at the palace, and I'm very excited about that, obviously. And so many things, to me, come back to excitement about things, looking forward to things, is the birth of hope. And the birth of hope is the death of depression. Keep your spirits up. Keep your hopes up. Trust in your King. Trust in the angel. We're here for you. Reach out to us. Let us know. We'll work very hard. We'll work tirelessly to get back to you. And if ever something falls through the cracks and we don't respond, please don't be upset. Send me another one and say, "Hey, King, what the heck, man? I sent you a note. Remind me." And we'll get with you, because we love you all so very much. We want all of you to be kings. We want to move forward with the K2, the keys to the kingdom. We want to figure out how we're going to do it. I've got all the advisements now. We just got to finish off these other things that we got to do so that it's done properly. Have a great day. The King bids you adieu.